All right, back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1, powered by Larry King Law. If you're injured in an accident, you call 757-INJURED for Larry King on this beautiful Saturday, the final one of February for 2021 with the coach, Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield, and Ed, we are pleased to be joined by a special guest. He is in his fourth season at the helm of Purple Thunder, the Deep Creek Hornets. He's got a record of 24-10 overall there. Before he got there, they had just 21 wins in their 9 seasons prior combined. This guy led them to their first playoff win in 16 years back in 2017, coming off a 14-6 season opening win on a Monday night in February. We're talking about Andre Twine, whose Hornets take on Indian River today. Coach, congrats on the latest win. How's life treating you in this COVID age we're in?
Man, I'm taking it one day at a time with the kids. It's been a little tough with the time constraints you have, but at the same time, you just gotta follow the protocols that everybody asks you to do, and just thankful that we have a season underway. So that's the whole kick of everything with that.
Sure thing. And tell me about this game on Monday night. You beat Grassfield, who's not far down the street from you guys, relatively new school, if you will. They're not so new anymore. They've been around more than 10 years, but nonetheless, you beat them, kind of a backyard rivalry game, and you did it with some passing. Now, your quarterback, Anthony Tony Barnes, had a couple of touchdown strikes to Josh Jack and Lamonte Wilson.
Yes, sir. We played, offensively, we had some peaks here and there. We could do a little better, but that comes with time. Defensively, we played amazing, had 87 yards total offense for Grassfield. Coach Howard called an excellent game in regards to that. I think we were a very physical team that night. We made some plays when we had to. Started them in the red zone late in the game, and that was the tipping point in the game. But overall, guys played hard, guys played well, and rivalry game, Grassfield, we come with expectation to beat them. So this has been the 4th year we got them, and Coach Asprey is still coaching his teams well, but we knew they would give them their best shot. They gave us a best shot, took their best shot, and we ended up pulling the game off.
Yeah, they've got a good tradition over there as well, but I think Deep Creek lost 9 in a row to Grassfield before you got there. Now you're 4-0, which is a nice mark there. And you mentioned Coach Howard. Correct me if I'm wrong, he's a former Deep Creek guy on your staff, is he not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Former all-Tidewater linebacker, all-district linebacker. Went to Morgan State. Was All-American there, and then he was nominated to be on the All-MEAC 100th anniversary team this year too. So, Coach, man, he puts all his heart and dedication to the team, to that defense, and it shows to the guys.
Sure. Before I kick it over to my cohort, Coach Young here, and we talk about also this game coming up with Indian River today. Monday night, not only have you all had to follow these protocols and get ready and mask up for a game, but you had some funky weather. I mean, I looked at some fields that they looked like maybe they might even be playable, where you sit there go, oh, my goodness, we've done all this. We might not even get to play today.
Oh, man, I tell you, we got a brand new field this summer.
Do you? Okay.
We got a brand new field. We had a brand new field house being built to our facility. And the field held up well. Like, it soaked the water. It was real thick, so it soaked the water up and it drained off. We didn't have any problems with the field. It rained around 5 o'clock and it didn't stop. But our field, man, compared to Western Branch and other schools I saw, oh my gracious, we were very fortunate and blessed to have a field that was brand new like that. So we didn't have any problems with traction or those things.
That's great to hear. Ed?
Hey, Coach, first of all, congrats on the opening win. Always get wins, period. But the opening win really ties in the preseason work. It shows the kids, hey, this is what can happen if we keep working. Because if you open up with a loss, it's like, dang, why are we doing all this work and we're still losing? So that's big, number one. And number two, I got to keep reminding myself, Coach Twine is the guy I said last year, how did this guy get a job at 18 years old? He looks so young. Coach, I'm sure you played in your day, right?
Yes, sir.
What position?
I played, I was an athlete, play everywhere.
Wherever you were needed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you could put the pads and helmet on right now, sneak in there, and probably make All-State right now.
I can outrun the kids now. I tell the kid I beat them in the race. I mean, I still train like I play, so
that's what I'm saying.
Up in shape.
Man, I just turned 28 the other day, and people say I look like I'm 89 years old. You got this fountain of youth going with football, so you must delegate a lot. And I was going to segue into this. You mentioned some other your coaches real quick, which as a veteran coach is admirable because you're quickly giving credit to others. And I always said in football, I would really delegate a lot of it because there's so much to go over. Let me hear your philosophy in terms of putting your staff together and then delegating things that they have to do.
Oh man, the first thing I always say, and coming from my father, my dad, he's still in the coaching staff. Is just you gotta let your coaches be them. Like you can't negate what they are, who they are, and you give them the authority to call what you need to call, and you put that trust in them. I always say if you give trust to somebody like that, they're gonna perform to their maximum potential. Because guess what? They know that you trust them in everything that they're doing. Like I said, my offensive coordinator, Xavier Williams, came from Ocean Lakes. He was with us at Deep Creek for a little bit. Went to Ocean Lakes, came back. Our offense has been pretty prolific since then. Coach Ricardo Phillips with the offensive line, defensive line. Oh, man, he does an amazing job. But there's so many things that goes behind the scenes that people don't see in regards to what they do for the kids. It's a lot. And, of course, with the whole COVID-19 protocol, I would use a lot of my JV coaches to help with that stuff, too. So everybody has a role they have to do. And that's the main thing I instill to the coaches. But the one thing I always say, if I come at you within the office, not outside. We keep that in-house. That's one thing I have a pet peeve about that too. But just overall, let my coaches be coaches and let them be. If they're emotional, that's them. But it's going to reflect to our team. They're going to be passionate about what they do, and it's all been shown for these past few years I've been here.
Well, it's interesting because football has so many different positions. And I always think, and a lot of players, that a head football coach can't be doing everything. But as I tell people, I didn't never coach football, but I tell people when a head coach coordinates a lot of things, he puts a game plan and he puts a team program in that the assistants carry out, and then it's tweaked as necessary. It's not where the head coach doesn't really know what line play is. He played quarterback in high school. He has no idea the line, so he has to hire a line coach, and the line coach does all the line stuff. No, not necessarily that way. But do you favor anything in particular, like you find yourself sometimes spending more time with maybe the quarterbacks or the hands people, or maybe diving into the line play? Or do you pretty much make sure you are same percentage everywhere?
Oh man, I really, when it comes to it, I'm a defensive back guy. I still coach DBs. That's just something that I've always loved and I always had a passion for. So I still have a input with the DBs a little more, and also the wide receivers too. That's the one thing I do kind of favor myself towards. But as a whole, I still like delegating stuff out. But defensive backs, that's my baby. So. I couldn't let that go too much.
And that's where you played, obviously, and
sir.
Successful. And I always tell football coaches when I kid with them, like a position coach, I'll say, hey, your head coach is a former defensive back, and you're the defensive back coach. I bet it's hell with him. And they're like, yeah, man, he's over here all the time, and because he knows this stuff really well. And I said, yeah, but you just have to be able to take it with a grain of salt, because that's his expertise position. He still has you as a DB coach. If he didn't want you, he wouldn't have hired you.
Exactly.
So you still got to do it, but it is his expertise. And I said, if I was out there, I'd probably be like, come on, coach, can't you go whatever the quarterbacks or whatever? I'll take care of this business.
Yeah. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's just, like I said, you put that trust factor in what they want to do, and the coaches, they're going to go hard for you and work hard and put the kids in position. If you see, and a lot of things I learned too also, that as it's been my fourth year, I'm starting to just delegate a little more to everything. So at the end of the day, you, as a head coach, you get called in, they go call you in on what your assistants do too. So that's how it works.
And it's important because sometimes as young coaches in any sport, we feel like we got to do everything. And football, oh man, that's a lot. And I remember reading books about some of the veteran coaches, and one of the things they say, they became a better coach when they did less coaching. And I thought, what? Then when you read into that, it's not that they're not coaching at all. They're sitting on the sideline eating chips or whatever. No, it's just that they're not trying to coach everything, and they're basically coaching up their staff as to, okay, here's our game plan. Here's what we got coming in for Nan's River. Here's what we got for Grassfield. And then you tweak as you go along. And I try to tell young coaches nowadays, that's okay. You're not giving up ownership. I think sometimes we're afraid of that. The key though is you got to hire the right people.
Yep.
And then, like I said, if we got a problem, we take care of it in home, and they need to be on the sidelines, even though there's sometimes a little blow-ups, and you get over it. But I think that's key to winning. And I'm starting to feel with you and wondering why Deep Creek has been successful. I think that's the key thing right there, is that you're a little bit more relaxed at it. You are delegating. You got the right people, and they're carrying out their job.
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, the sisters I do, they do an excellent job in what they do. And like I said before, they're very passionate in what they do, and they always want to put the kids in the best position possible to be successful. And once you got that type of formula there, and I mean, sky's the limit. So we just keep on pushing forward with that and try to achieve better. You know, we went 7-3 last year, regular season, 7-3 year before. We're trying to take that next step. That's our goal. So that's just where we want to be at that point with our team, and the coaching staff wants to get there too.
We'll talk with Andre Twine. He's the head football coach of the Deep Creek Hornets, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1 as they try to get to 2-0 this weekend with a matchup at Indian River today here. And talking with the former Wildcat and Spartan. He started at Great Bridge High School. Edward was an all Southeastern District corner, 58 tackles, 3 interceptions, also caught 29 balls for 428 yards and 7 touchdowns as a wideout for Great Bridge. And then went at Norfolk State in 2006, led the team in pass deflections with 8. We know about his dad, Phil Twine, an Oscar Smith legend who's helping him get his mark at Deep Creek going here as a coach, and now carving out quite a career for himself here. And Coach, you were a heck of a player back in the day, but you got a lot of good ones. We mentioned about Tony Barnes and Lamonte Wilson, Josh Jack, and one of my favorites to watch for you, going back to even the 7-on-7 league back in the fall that we had in the beach, is none other than Jalen Jones. I don't know if you can cover him these days. He's really good.
I cover Jalen all day, every day.
Well, I don't know if he'll say the same thing, though. We'll find out.
Hey, look, I always give, I give them the kids, I said, man, you will never get past me. But overall with Jalen Jones, man, he's a pure athlete, man. The kid's smooth, route runner, and actually defensive back, too. He's one of the better DBs I have coached in regards to his ball skills and playmaking abilities back there. Off man, that's one thing that's hard to play as a defensive back. He can play it better than ever I have coached. I mean, I'm like, good gracious, oh my gosh. But overall, secondary with Lamonte, Jalen Jones, Anthony Barnes, those guys, man, they play. Josh Jack. You had it for so long now, especially with Jalen Jones and Josh Jack. Lamonte, of course, he transferred from Wilson and came here. So we had an experience of playing against him. We saw the ability he had there. Those guys, man, they're long range. They can play good ball, but we always challenge them because we know it only takes one play to turn the game around. So I tell my DBs, we have to be focused at all times and not let our guard down. Mm-hmm. But those guys can really play it on the field in the big time.
Give us an update on the recruitment for Jones. What's he looking at right now for the next level? I know you got a couple other players on the line. I believe Ryan Nolan's one of them that's also getting a lot of attention for colleges. Give us an update on some of your seniors and juniors and what's the recruiting looking like for them in this strange year where it hasn't been typical.
Yeah, with Jalen, it was women married at one point, and then, he still has a couple of visits. Small school Catawba, right? As a matter of fact, my defensive back coach is the defensive coordinator there, and he likes him a whole lot. So he most likely probably end up going to visit during our bye week, and that'll be good. But again, he's actually a track guy too. So he really wants to go to school and do football and run track because his sophomore year he was state runner up in the triple jump and number 1 in the long jump. So he can attack that option to go football or run track because right now he's been accepted to Virginia Tech and he may lean towards running track at Virginia Tech. So he has all options out there for him.
And any of your senior or junior guys, as far as some heavy interest or looks for them, because I know this is a good group for you that you've been building for these last few years.
Of course, Ryan Nolan, he's getting some looks right now. We still have some good guys in the front. Walter Barnett, guard tackle, Deontay Roscoe, Lamonte Wilson. These guys are gaining interest from schools. Also, for my other classes, guys, 2023, we have a young kid, Ryman Henry Strickland, plays center for us. He's a sophomore, around 6'2", about 280 pounds. And another guy that's really stepping up for us, Kuwait Armstrong. He's about 6'3", 6'4". He's around 365. So we got some guys in the fold that's been stepping up. Linebacker wise, Archie Hill just started the middle linebacker this year. Caleb Saller, Alec Young, those guys, since their freshman year, they really starting to get a little interest from smaller schools. It needs, of course, the game film is the key for everything with that. But overall, these guys they're a very formidable team, and they work hard. They got a lot of blue collar guys on the squad.
Good to hear. We're talking with Andre Twine. A couple more minutes with him, the head football coach of the Deep Creek Hornets, here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk as they get set for their matchup later on with Indian River today. It's ESPN Radio 94.1, and it sounds like they got some great bodies in the trenches there, Ed.
Yeah, of course, me being an outsider basketball coach, I always liked the interest in the line play. I think it's the position that's tough to play, especially offensive line. Defensive line, I think, is the most fun because you just go in there after the ball carrier and bang in situations. Coach, I wanted to ask you, you dwelled on this a little bit earlier with the COVID situation, and I know we as coaches get tired of it. And we lost our season because of it. Yeah. But does it change? And if it is, and I'm sure it does, how much does it change in your normal philosophy as to some things you have to do now because of the situation?
Oh man, see, I think that coach during this COVID season and going to it, because we had 2 weeks, they had to play a game, so it was so fast, like what the world's going on, and then with the weather being bad, it was a lot. So before I started coaching high school, I was a middle school coach. So at that point, we didn't have a lot of time to prepare anyway. So at that point, I had to go back to my middle school philosophy and be like, less is more. Let's just drill the basic stuff and execute the basic stuff. And that's how we've been. I think that's been the best key for us to do. Not overload the kids too much, but just give them enough where they can actually not think too much and just play fast. That's what I think where my middle school experience came into play with that. So just make sure we're keeping the basic things we're doing here. I mean, throw a little bit here, formation here and there, but let's just keep our philosophy and keep it as simple so the guys can play fast. That's what it all boils down to.
Well, and of course, big worry is, I'm sorry, Matt, one more. The big worry, Coach, and I had asked Coach Stokowski over at first, at Cox High School, what happens? Protocol obviously says if somebody comes down with COVID, for the most part, does the entire team quarantine, for like 2 weeks? Is it the possibility of losing out on more games? Do they get rescheduled? Has that been addressed to you guys yet?
In regards to that, yes, more so. Again, it can deal with a position, maybe a position group. If it may affect the whole team will, of course, to be shut down for 14 days, so you lose 2 weeks. It's a day-by-day thing and a week-by-week process. So you kind of tell the kids to be safe as much as you can out there with the protocols and wearing your mask and those things. But yes, it can get pretty tough. It can get tough with it. So we just tell our kids is make sure you follow the proper protocols. And a lot of times, things can happen. You can try all the protocols and you can still be exposed. So it's tough, but you tell the kids to be safe as you possibly can. And we've been doing a pretty good job over here in doing that. So we're blessed and fortunate that we haven't had any scares like that. But we know that it can happen. But we're just going to move forward, and if it does, then it happens. If it doesn't, amen. We keep it going forward.
For sure. We saw a couple of basketball teams get put on pause, and even a few, unfortunately, in our state get shut down during the playoffs, which was really sad to see. And the last one for me, Coach, and we appreciate you coming on with us and doing this. To kind of follow up what you and they were talking about, that preparation, only a couple weeks before the first game here, and now you get a big one in game 2. It's not like past few years where you can go 6-4, 7-3, get in. You lose a game or even 2, you can be done and not make the playoffs. They're only taking 4 to Division 5. We know both of you squads today are worthy of it, Deep Creek and Indian River. You've had some really good battles with them the last few years, and you're getting ready for this game, not having seen a game on film, no scrimmages. So is your reference point more what you saw in the fall? Granted, that was some 7-on-7, not guys in helmets and shoulder pads and in the trenches. Or do you go back to some of last year's game film, a little bit of both? How do you get ready for the Braves?
Yeah, a little bit of both. You see what it is, 7-on-7 passing game, those things like that. I mean, at this point, River and Creek is a big-time rivalry. The past 4 years we've played, we kind of know each other very well, so it's not like we don't know too much about each other. Right. We've been having some very spirited games. I know my first year we had that one touchdown by Damian Everett break. They missed the field goal. I mean, 2018, it was tight, but then they opened up in the fourth quarter. Last year, of course, Screw broke that touchdown against us to end the game. So, I mean, we looking at this point, I think what helps us, we got a game on our belt already. That helps us a whole lot. Then that doesn't detect from Indian River who's going to be ready to go. But that one game against Grassfield does help us out and see where we had to make it. Because, with those scrimmages and those things, I mean, I tell coaches, just be patient with your kids. Because you're going to see, like, what the world? But, look at it. We had less time, so you go from there. But like I said, us keeping it simple has helped us a whole lot with that.
Well, the Braves and the Hornets lock horns later on at 1 o'clock on this final Saturday of February 2021. Deep Creek trying to move to 2-0 on the season and their quest for another playoff berth there under Coach Twine. Thank you so much, Coach. Best wishes to you. Stay safe, and to you and all your guys, and we'll definitely keep in touch, all right?
All right, y'all take it easy.
Hey, Coach, one last thing. Watch
Yes,
that
sir.
basketball coach, that new dude, Craig Frost.
Oh, yeah, Frost. Oh, yeah. Frost, man. He
Watch
good
that
guy,
Frosty
man.
guy.
Hey, he good.
He was my assistant a long time, man. I hated to lose him, but it was his time to get his own program, and I'm happy for him. And I think he got in a great place. So, but hey, next time you see him, say, hey, one of the coaches told me I got to watch you. You're a little sneaky. When he says, who said it? Some guy named Young. See what he says.
I'll tell him, Coach.
All right. Good luck to you too, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Andre Twine, our guest here, head football coach of the Deep Creek Hornets, with us on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1.